What's going on, guys? It's QuazyDog here, and this is part 3 of 3. So if you've stayed this far along, thank you so much. But if this is the first time that you're catching one of these videos, part 3 is actually installing the NVMe SSD upgrade into your PS5. Now, we're going to see the NVMe that I'm using right here. This is the XPG S70 blade. And in part 1 of this video, we actually went ahead and installed the heatsink that you guys can see right here. Now, the main importance of this heatsink, because of course the blade, if I have it here somewhere, does come with like a little aluminum heat shield. This guy here really isn't that great at dissipating heat and energy. If it's in a PC, it's probably fine, but in a PS5, there's really just not enough cooling within the actual NVMe tray to utilize proper thermals on this guy here. And if you spend like 150 or more on an NVMe, if not this one, maybe any other one, you wanna make sure your thermal components really can handle that, because you don't wanna burn out those drives, because it's very expensive to replace and you don't wanna damage your actual hardware, because these PS5s, they're still terribly hard to come by. So we're gonna go through step by step exactly how to install this guy here. So let's change that camera angle and let's jump right in. All right, so here is the PS5 itself. Now, these instructions will be the exact same regardless if you have a disc-based version like this one, or if you have the discless or the digital version. Now, you're gonna wanna make sure that you're actually taking off the top cover here. So if we flip this around, you're going to notice that one side has the PlayStation logo. You actually want to do this from the side that does not have the logo. You're gonna take a look, you're gonna grab the back corner here, and all you do is lift up a little bit. I lift with my palm, and you're just gonna pull towards you, and very easily, this just comes right off. So you're gonna see on here, there's a couple of little clips that just end up sliding out. So you're just lifting those and sliding. Very, very easy. These guys here, I don't know if you can buy them separately, so you wanna make sure that you're gentle with this removal, but it's really nothing crazy difficult. Now, I'm going to grab my screwdriver, because the next step is actually identifying this guy right here. So you're gonna wanna go ahead and remove this screw. Now, there are some drives out there that the heatsink that's already pre-installed is a little bit taller than what this caddy is capable of supporting. So it's not necessarily a big problem if by chance you have a different drive than the one that I have. And let's go ahead and get in here and remove this as I talk a bunch. There we go. So here we actually have your drive housing itself. But like I was saying, there's a couple of drives that are actually taller than this housing. And although that's not a big deal because your side plate will still go on with a taller NVMe, you run the risk of directly exhausting a lot of heat out of this chamber here and into your actual cooling mechanism here. So using this shield, just make sure that you're able to kind of keep that heat to itself, which is why in part 1, again, we went ahead and we installed a heatsink, which you guys can see right here, to give it a little bit more cooling than what was available with this guy, wherever I put that. The heat shield that was on the S70 blade. So you're gonna see one screw right here. You're very easily going to be able to remove this guy. Go and save him for later. And you're gonna have this little standoff as well. Now, this standoff is not threaded and you will need it. So make sure that you don't misplace it. Taking a look at the drive, you're gonna see it just inserts here. And this will support a couple of different sizes indicated from the screw mounts here, 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 and here. So you're gonna wanna make sure, in this case, if you're using this drive, to go ahead and put that little standoff right in there. So you're really just gonna line that up again, depending on the drive that you have, with the little screw mount right there. So let's go ahead. We're gonna take the little teeth. So here you can see that kind of like a dim stick for RAM or really anything, there's only one way that you can hook this up and plug it in. So you're gonna go in to the actual connector right there, rest it down. And because we actually have that little spacer, now when we put this screw in, it's going to be the proper height. So let's go ahead, get that screw in there. And it might be a touch difficult. Let's go ahead and make sure, there we go. You clip the drive in, might help a ton. And right into that eyelet. So now we have the availability to screw that directly in. Now this heatsink, again, we're gonna get this as a close-up right here. You can see that we now have on this unit the appropriate spacing to go ahead and put the drive cover on, and it situates itself perfectly fine. So we're gonna put that screw down, screw that back in place, and that's really going to help contain some of that heat that NVMe is gonna throw off. So now we have the NVMe all installed. We can go ahead, we can take our side plate, which is this guy right here. You're gonna put it down kind of more so towards the bottom. You're gonna feel those little clips line up, push from the bottom, and that's gonna connect, not a problem. So now let's hook this up and let's actually take a look at the on PS5 instructions on how to actually get this guy all situated and set up for your mass storage needs. There we go. So now to use your M.2 SSD, you need to format it. When you format your M.2 SSD, all data on it will be deleted. If you want to continue using your PS5 without formatting your M.2 SSD, turn off your PS5 and remove it. So in this case, of course, we do want to go ahead and we do want to reformat that drive into a format that's readable and recognizable by the console itself. So you're gonna have this ticker kind of progress. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna speed through that, and we're gonna move on to the next steps. Okay, so now we have the read speed of the M.2 SSD. So again, this is the GAMX S70 by XPG. Now, in this case, the read speed is 6285.249 or 249. Now, that's actually fairly close to the advertised speed of the drive itself if you've connected it to a PC. But the best thing is this is well beyond the specifications recommended as a minimum by the console itself. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna go through, it has been formatted, and this should take us to the actual dashboard itself. So rebuilding the database, here we are. So we're within the PS5 itself, display area, because I tried to hook this up to a 1080p source, so it kind of messed with that, but here we go. Let's go into the settings, and now if we go into storage, what you're going to notice is we have console storage with free space of 351 gigabytes, but the M.2 is actually 1.02 terabytes. So with the actual console storage, again, out of like the 880, you only have 667.2 usable. And when you come in and you take a look at some of the larger games, and I don't have much installed on here right now. Did we, oh, see, I already removed Call of Duty before this video. That was like 250 gigabytes. Now we have this M.2 right here, full of available storage. So let's go ahead. At the advertised read speed, we should very easily be able to move some games over. So if we go, and what's a larger file? Let's take a look at Far Cry 6. So if we click on this, we're gonna see the option to select items to move. We're gonna move this and we're gonna hit move. We're gonna see that it goes from console storage. We have what's going to be available afterwards and then what's going to be available afterwards on the new M.2 as well. Moving that. Keep in mind, guys, this is 85.4 gigabytes. And let's see exactly how long this takes because these drives are just crazy fast. I'm speaking in real time right now, so you know that we're not speeding it up. We're not doing anything in editing as far as fast forwarding or 2x speed or anything like that. And we're already about 30% done And it's been what, maybe 10 seconds? We're creeping up on 50% and right about there. And that's because these drives have the availability to read and write above 5 gigabit or 5,000 megabits per second for the read and the write. That is the actual minimum specification. In this case, our drive was 62 and change, so we know that new NVMe is just absolutely insanely fast. We're creeping up on about 80% here. It's almost done, and then we're gonna take a look at kind of the before and after comparison on the drives themselves to make sure that all the storage allocated itself properly. And here we go. It looks like it's at 100% for that move. We've officially moved 1 out of 1, which was that 85 gigabyte file. So if we take a look and we go all the way back, we've got our console storage now with 438.2 gigabytes free, and the M.2 storage, we still have 938.7. And there is one game on here, that's Far Cry 6. And of course, that was 85.48 gigabytes. So just insanely fast when it comes to this drive. I'm really excited for more titles to come out so I can just fill this thing obnoxiously full. I'm gonna end up putting Call of Duty back on here as well, because I had to remove it for Hell Let Loose and for, I believe it was Far Cry 6 when that came out. My storage was just maxed out. So that's gonna conclude this singular video on how to actually install the M.2 SSD, how to do all of the software configuring. We do have 2 other parts as well within this playlisted series. So how to make sure that your S70 blade is actually up to date using the ADATA software on a computer that does have a compatible M.2 slot on it. And then part 1, of course, was how to install that actual heatsink. So if you guys found any of this helpful, useful, anything at all, go ahead and drop a like and let me know whether or not you guys are in the market for an M.2 SSD upgrade on your console. Links will be in the video description for what I personally used for the drive itself as well as the heatsink. But until my next video, my name is QuazyDog. You guys have been awesome, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.